I'm not gonna lie guys, finding discounted dividend stocks right now is really hard, and it feels like no matter what you're looking at, then is the price just going up. However, I've still managed to find 3 discounted dividend stocks that I do believe is a really good buy at the moment, and also for the long term as we just went into October. And moving on to the first discounted dividend stock on my list, and here we actually have a dividend king, and that is PepsiCo, ticker symbol PEP. And I think that all of you know exactly what PepsiCo is, and you've most likely bought some of their products before, and you're most likely also buying some of their products on a regular basis. But what you might not know about PepsiCo is that the majority of their revenue is actually coming from their snacks and not from their soft drinks. But PepsiCo does currently have a share price sitting at $173, and when looking at their performance during the last month, well then is PepsiCo actually down by just above 3%. And zooming out and looking at their year-to-date performance, well then is PepsiCo actually up by 1%. And even though that is a positive return, then it's not really a good return. And when comparing this return with the MSCI World Index, for example, that is up by 18.5. Well then we do see that PepsiCo has basically underperformed the market. And when looking at the analyst recommendations for PepsiCo, well then they do also agree with me. And they have rated PepsiCo as a moderate buy at the moment, with an average share price sitting at $184 within the next 12 months. And that is an upside of just above 5%, which is pretty good. But let's just have a look at their dividends, because the dividends is really what makes PepsiCo a great investment. And they currently have a dividend yield sitting at 3.14%, a 5-year growth rate of almost 7%, which is pretty good. And they have been increasing this dividend every single year for the last 51 years in a row. And that is absolutely amazing. 51 years is a really long time. And having been able to increase the dividend every single year throughout that time is just amazing. And that does of course also make PepsiCo a true dividend king. And overall, then is PepsiCo just a really solid company. They have a very strong brand, and they have some amazing products that are being sold all over the world. And they are paying out a really great dividend. So if you have been looking for a stable dividend stock in your portfolio, well then PepsiCo might be the perfect pick for you. And moving on to the second company on my list. And here we're gonna go in a completely different direction. So if you are the investor who does like a stable and strong dividend yield, then this company might not be for you. But if you are the investor who does like share price appreciation and a strong dividend growth, then you might really like this company. And the company that I'm talking about is Microsoft, ticker symbol MSFT. And there is basically no need to make an introduction for this company. We all know what Microsoft is, so let's just get straight into the numbers. And they currently have a share price sitting at $415, and when looking at their performance during the last month, well then is Microsoft basically up by 0.4%. And when zooming out and looking at their performance during 2024, well then is Microsoft up by 10.7%. And that is a pretty good return. But as you can see in the graph here as well, well then they did take a drop from their peak in July. And if we do zoom out and look at the return here, well then you basically get the point. And Microsoft is of course one of the AI leaders of our time, and they are transforming the world in so many ways. So if you do see growth on all fronts, well then add Microsoft to your list of potential stocks. And the analysts, they do also agree with that. And they have rated Microsoft as a strong buy at the moment, with an average share price sitting at $503 within the next 12 months. And that is an upside of 21%, which is honestly pretty amazing. And you are of course also going to enjoy dividends along the way, as they currently do have a dividend yield sitting at 0.85%, a 5-year growth rate in their dividends of more than 10%, which is actually really great to see. And they have been increasing this dividend for the last 19 years in a row. And I see no reason as to why Microsoft shouldn't continue increasing this dividend every single year going forward. So moving on to the third and last discounted dividend stock on my list. And here we do have a company that I have been adding a bit of to my portfolio recently, and that is Alphabet. And Alphabet is basically another AI leader and one of the main competitors for Microsoft. But Alphabet has been heavily impacted by these antitrust lawsuits recently, and that has really had a negative impact on their share price. And they currently have a share price sitting at $163, and when looking at their performance during the last month, well then is Alphabet basically up by 8%. And that is a pretty good return, to be honest. And when zooming out and looking at the year-to-date performance, well, then is Alphabet up by 16%, and that is also a pretty good return. But just as we had with Microsoft, then did Alphabet also take a bit of a hit from their peak back in July, and that means that right now might be a really good buying opportunity. And if we do zoom out once more and look at the last 5 years, well, then we basically see that Alphabet is up by 168%, and that is a very solid return. And when looking at their revenue, we can also easily see that Alphabet has been rapidly increasing their revenue ever since 2016, while they have been keeping an insanely clean balance sheet. And the best part about Alphabet is basically how strong they are in the market, not just right now, but also when looking at the future. And the analysts, they do agree with that. And they have rated Alphabet as a strong buy at the moment, with an average share price sitting just above $200 within the next 12 months. And that is an upside of more than 23%, and that is a really good return within only 12 months. But until then, well, then you're also going to receive some dividends. However, this company just started by paying dividends, so we don't really have much data to go on. But the important part is that Alphabet has officially said that they are going to focus more and more on paying out dividends going forward, and they want to be very consistent in doing so. But they currently have a dividend yield sitting at 0.49%, and that is basically the only number we have when it comes to dividends for Alphabet. But hopefully we are going to see Alphabet really starting to focus on their dividends, paying them out regularly, and increasing that dividend every single year, just like we see with Microsoft. And that was basically all I had in today's video. Thank you for watching the video, and please let me know in the comment below which stocks you're looking to buy at the moment. It is always very interesting to hear what you guys are looking at as well. But thank you for watching, and see you guys in the next one.